I'm finally checking out the Yuba Spicy Curry. Yuba has built their reputation on cargo bikes like this, and this is a pedal assist class 1 cargo bike. So you get a little bit of extra help, and that's important if you're hauling around kids or maybe some groceries or some planks of wood or just whatever. If you want to turn your bicycle into almost like a car replacement, this is the kind of bike that can do it. And they've really stepped it up in terms of power here. This is a mid-drive from TransX. It's labeled Curry Electro Drive, and that's kind of the whole system. But it offers 350 watts nominal, 400 watts peak with 73 Newton meters of torque. By comparison, the Bosch system that I've reviewed a bunch in 2015 and ongoing offers 60 Newton meters of torque. So this is like power. That's kind of what they're going for, and it really does deliver power, but surprisingly smooth power. It's not overwhelming. It's not especially loud. You'll notice that this chain ring in the front's a little bit larger. It's 48 tooth. It does have this nice aluminum alloy guide that sort of doubles as a bash guard if you encounter a curb, and that's kind of nice given how long the wheelbase is on this bike. I have measured the standover height, the length, everything that I felt was important, and that'll be back at the site. But as we continue from there to the back portion, you can see a Shimano Altus derailleur. It's an 8-speed cassette, and I think it's 11 by 34 tooth. So, 8 speeds is decent, and you got some low gears in there for cranking when you're hauling a bunch of weight or climbing a hill, and that's important. Altus is like a step up from Tourney, so it's kind of a lower end part, but yeah, it's decent, and it's a low hanging derailleur, so hopefully it won't encounter curbs or other obstacles. Same thing with these sort of side racks that are connected here. These are optional, but they do give you more options for carrying gear and stuff. They kind of call them side loaders. 65 pounds per loader is sort of what they're rated at. The whole bike's rated at 300 pounds. And then the back section, there's like a little rating tag on there. It's kind of neat to get that level of feedback, because a lot of times bicycles don't go into really how strong they are, and it does feel stiff. This is an aluminum alloy frame, reinforced, kind of gusseted right here. See these oversized welds, really oversized headset, a 1.5 VP. Just everything is meant to be strong, including the front basket. Like when I turn the bars and the wheel, you'll notice that the basket stays straight, and that's because it's bolted directly behind the head tube. But that's the way it's supposed to work. This is called the bread basket accessory, and I love that they were able to sort of relocate the headlight to the front of this thing. The bike does come with front and rear lights integrated, and that's sweet. That means that they run off that battery pack, so you don't have to worry about charging them separately or forgetting to take them off. And this one's kind of tucked away in the back. Pretty nice stuff. Linneo by Spaninga. So just quality all around. And the accessories that you see here, again, they don't come with the bike. We've got some pannier packs on the side, this soft cushiony seat, an extra set of handlebars here for maybe a little one, and then these monkey bars. I think that's what these are called. They're just aluminum alloy, but they give kids something to hold on to when they won't get their fingers pinched. So see, if you're holding here and you scraped a tree or just something like that, your fingers wouldn't get sheared off. Ouch. So that's nice, very thoughtfully engineered stuff. There are a bunch of cargo bikes on the market, and I think that this offers a lot of compatibility, including with like the really popular Yep child seat that would just clip right onto the back. I noticed it didn't have a bottle cage, bosses, but whatever. I kind of call that out a lot because you get thirsty, but when you have something like this, you could just put your jug of water up here, and little bungee rack is kind of nice. It's a handsome bike. It comes in this avocado green color, relatively easy to approach, and again, pretty stiff. I like that there's a deflopulator up there. See that spring that kind of pulls it back, so you kind of keep the bike aligned when you're loading it. And then these really big double-sided kickstands with like 2 springs. It's just really, really sturdy. This is not flat. I'm in a parking lot, and it's a little bit slanted, but the bike just feels really solid, like it's not going anywhere. I like that. If you do get these side loaders though, please be careful. I've noticed that, if I'm about to get on the bike like this and then I put my foot down, kind of brace the kickstand and I roll it forward, Like, see how that side loader's coming back and it's about to, it would hit the back of my leg where my Achilles tendon is, and then it's difficult to get at the kickstand afterwards. So, you know, you just don't want to get hurt. So that's what I'm saying. These pedals that are on it kind of suck, in my opinion, but it comes with better ones, actually. I think they're like VP, you know, aluminum alloy platform. They might be Welgo, but just big black aluminum, solid, much stiffer, much better traction. That's great. I love that it comes with fenders, front and rear. They're plastic, which tends to be more resilient than something like steel. Steel's sturdy, but it gets kind of bent up and stuff and can get scratched, where this is just, you know, it's like whatever. It's durable. It's got the mud flaps here. This fender was actually loose when I was riding it before, so I just tightened it up down here, and then the rattling went away, which was nice. With a bike this large and heavy, it is 62 pounds. Not terrible for a cargo bike, but, you know, heavier than most electric bikes. They're in the 45, 50 pound range. It's good to have solid brakes. So Tektro Vela hydraulic, 180 millimeter rotor in the front, 160 millimeter rotor in the back. Did you notice there's quick release on both wheels? That's pretty awesome. So you could take the battery pack off, take the seat post off, you could take the wheels off and really just reduce the weight of this, and of course all the racks and stuff. Just very nice. And the spokes on the front and the rear wheel are 13 gauge, so standard is like 14. So the lower the number, the thicker and sturdier the spokes are. So I really like that. And then this rear wheel, it's smaller. So the front wheel is more traditional, 26 by 1.15, I think. And then back here, same thing. It's 20 by 1 point, let's just double check that. Oh, 2.15, I got mixed up. Yeah, I was like, this is fatter than that. So 2.15, it's just fatter, and they call them balloon tires. So yeah, Schwalbe Big Apple Plus balloon. They've got the reflective sidewall strap to give you more visibility from the sides, because remember, you got front and rear lights, but people need to see you from the side as well. And then they've got this performance green guard, sort of a puncture protection measure. It just makes them more tough. So if you're going over some thorns or glass or something, hopefully they won't get punctured. It's a relatively smooth tread, definitely more of an on-road sort of a electric bike, and that's good. You know, this taking it off-road would get a little bit unwieldy, but you do have a lot of power. So anyway, the 48 tooth sprocket in the front that I was talking about, it's really large. It's pretty smooth and it gives you some nice leverage, but it's also sort of offsetting that 20-inch rear wheel. If you didn't have a larger chainring up here, you'd be spinning sort of unnaturally fast. So it balances out the rear wheel size, and that rear wheel brings the whole frame closer to the ground. And that allows you to mount gear and everything lower as well, because the wheel's, you know, not as tall. And that's gonna make it easier to balance. It's really well designed. Most of the cargo bikes sort of incorporate something like this, but it's worth calling out. Another downside though to having these side loaders is that because they're lower to the ground, because that rear wheel, you could hit curbs and other things. And so just kind of keep that in mind and be conscious when you're riding. There's no suspension on this. I believe it is a steel fork, so that, you know, dampens some vibrations. And the tires are larger, and you could lower the pressure slightly. It says 30 to 55 PSI. Doing so will reduce your range and efficiency, but you've got an electric motor, so, you know, it's okay if you ride a little less efficiently. Don't go too low, though. You'll get a pinch flat. The reason I'm calling out comfort is because I feel like they've done a good job with, there's like 7 spacers right here really bringing up the stem, and then there's these swept back gull wing style handlebars. The saddle's like medium firmness, but it's a little bit larger towards the rear. It gives you something to kind of sit down on and more of an upright riding position. But again, no suspension, and there's this longer wheelbase with a smaller wheel in the back. So you could replace the seat post with, like, I think it's 30.9 millimeter diameter, and it comes with, I think, one of 2 heights on that. One is 14.5 inches and the other one's 18.5 inches, and that's so that really tall riders can get on this and really crank it up, because it only comes in one size and one color for now. Okay, so just something to think about. If you did try to get a seat post suspension, you know, the tube isn't super tall, right? And so you need a longer post so that you could still have suspension going on, and you need to think about how that impacts your accessories and stuff. So yeah, I'm being extra thorough here. We talked about the motor specs, 350 nominal, 400 peak. Let's talk about the battery. 48 volt, 8.7 amp hour. That's pretty good. You know, 48 volts is more power and throughput to the motor. it is locking and removable. There's even like a little LED sort of readout on the side, but getting it off isn't super easy. You have to like get in here between the chain and the chain ring, and then you have to kind of lift this up, maybe from the top, and then kind of shimmy it out the side right there. I love that the weight is low and centered, and that it keeps the frame from bending a bunch. It gives you tons of rear storage space, but the trade-off is that it's just not that easy to get to. So keep that in mind. Lithium-ion batteries, and I believe they're either Samsung or LG. It's pretty decent stuff. The motor, in terms of operation, is supposed to be like an advanced sort of speed and cadence and torque sensing. I definitely noticed torque sensing, but it almost felt more like a cadence sensor to me, which was good because with all that weight, I didn't want to have to push extra hard to activate the motor. I noticed that I could just pedal pretty gently and it would activate. And then again, it didn't activate super strong. So I was impressed with this. It's not loud. It's not the most responsive starting and stopping. And it doesn't have shift sensing, but it actually delighted me in terms of performance. I've complained about the Electrodrive motors in the past as like, well, it's not as good as Bosch or something, but this one's pretty, it's nice. It's growing on me a little bit. So to operate it, you just press that power button down there on the battery, and then you hold the power button up here on the button pad. It takes a few seconds. There we go. See, that was a long time, and it does a countdown. First thing you see here is speed in miles per hour. Started me out on pedal assist 3, and then there's up to 5 bars of battery. I've only got 3 bars for now. I was just charging it, trying to get the voltage up before this test ride. You can get some other readouts by pressing this little square thing right here. So we go from speed to odometer to trip distance to, come on, range. There we go. So I have to push a little bit harder on these, and maybe it's because it's a demo bike or whatever, but range is cool because it's looking at how much battery you have and your pedal assist level, and then it's guessing. It's like, yeah, you can get 3 miles on pedal assist level 3. If I arrow up to pedal assist level 4, which is the highest, now I can only get 7 miles because see, the motor's working harder, it's using the battery more quickly. And if I arrow all the way down to 1, well, 14 miles. Cool. So the interesting thing about this is there's no zero mode. So you're always got some kind of pedal assist going. And actually, you know, I think there's something about this display. If I hold the square button for a couple seconds, there we go, range. No, it's just, yeah, I don't remember at the moment. There's some tricks in here. If you hold the plus button though, that does activate backlighting on the display, which is cool, and it turns on the lights. But you can see there's also a daylight sensor right here, so if that's covered up, that also activates the lights, which is pretty nice. And also that you can hold that plus button and kind of turn it off, but then, you know, again, the light sensor automatically does it. I'm going to hold it on for a couple seconds here, try to keep it active, and you can see the headlight. It's not the brightest headlight I've ever seen. You know, it's nice to have something. And I think, you know, you can see the reflection off the wall. The rear light is really what's impressive. And again, just that they're integrated like that. And also, now that we're back and getting ready to park this thing, remember to turn off the battery pack itself. So we press the power button down here for a couple seconds, and you can see the display has gone to sleep. I think it auto shuts off after a while, but it's just kind of an extra step. And now that the battery pack is off, again, that's one of my gripes, is that we're up here trying to turn it on, and you might wonder, like, oh, is it out of batteries? Like, what's going on? I'm holding the button. It's because it's got that second step, which, you know, it's a bit of a hassle. You got to reach down and click the button. So I also like that they've just tossed a little bell on here, and that we've got these nice ergonomic grips, just coming back to the whole comfort thing. And the hydraulic disc brakes are pretty easy to actuate. It's a good setup, and 4 levels of pedal assist is nice. And I liked that, you know, again, it wasn't requiring me to push very hard. This is the charger. It's a couple pounds, 2 amp charger. I like that you can disconnect one of the wires here so that it's a little bit more compact. It's got a nice metal end piece that's going to hold up if it gets stepped on or whatever. You know, pretty cool stuff. You could toss that in the bread basket up front. And one of the other cool optional accessories is this kind of like turbo ring that they can wire in. And basically this acts like a little throttle, and it wouldn't be able to mount too close to that right grip just because of the window here on the shifters, but you can turn this on right there on the top, and then there's this slow mode or a fast mode. And with the fast mode, if you're holding this down, that'll take you up to 20 miles per hour. So that's really cool. It sort of changes this class from class 1 pedelec only to class 2 throttle. But it could be worth it if you're someone who, you know, carries a bunch of stuff. Maybe you've got some hills and you're ascending up to a stop sign and you have to start from zero, like, you know, this will get the motor going and help you right off the bat. I think they're pretty affordable. I don't know if it's $50 or what, but yeah, that's kind of neat. Okay, so the bike is on. I'm gonna carefully take it off the kickstand and just give it a little ride here. I'm gonna start in pedal assist 1 since it is so gentle and just kind of nice. Give you an idea. I also like that the display panel kind of swivels, but it's not removable, and there's no like USB charging ports or anything. It's just kind of a standard display. Okay, I'm in a higher gear right now, so I'm really gonna have to push to get this thing going. That's what I was talking about. The throttle would be kind of nice. It's definitely helping. You know, it got me up to, oh, see, I'm in kilometers per hour now. Maybe that's what happened when I was holding down the button. There we go. Yep. Okay, so those boxes, that switches from kilometers per hour to miles per hour. So here we go. Just kind of doing a gentle pedaling. It's taking me up to about 10 miles per hour in assist level 1. Not bad. And here you can see my body position. You know, pretty upright. Now let's take it all the way to 4. Yeah, good. It's good stuff. Definitely helping me along, and it makes riding a cargo bike just a lot more fun. Well, there you go. That is the Yuba Spicy Curry, and it's a pretty sweet bike, you know? Cargo bike, you get the motor support, kind of a fun color, lots of nice accessories. For the full write-up on this, along with all the specs I mentioned and stuff, I'll see you back at electricbikereview.com. And of course, especially when you're riding with passengers and stuff, be safe.